back to Talking RPGs. This is Ollie again. Today we are going to go through how to build a character in the ever wonderful D&D Beyond. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have possibly had a look at this. I'm partly making this video for some of my players, some of which are new, and show them a really easy way to knock a character together. Now, I just have the free version of D&D Beyond. You can pay for it and get more content, but today we're just going to look at, very simply, how to build a character. So what you want to do is you're going to go into Creations and My Characters. Now, I've built a few here. You get 6 on the free version, so there's a few here that I've already built, and you just hit create a character and it's going to give us some options. So we can either do a standard with a show text help for beginners down here. You can do a quick build, which I've done in the past when I've had to make multiple characters for new players and that kind of thing, and I've had to make quite a lot of them. This is quite a good quick way of building them, and then once you've got a first level character you can sort of level them up relatively easily, and then you can create random characters, which I've used before for more like NPCs and that kind of thing. Today we're just going to go through the standard. I'm going to put the show text help on just so you guys can see the kind of help that you get. So it loads this up and you get to, excuse me, so it loads this up and you get to choose your character's name and a like profile picture type thing. I'm just going to hit a random name here. Brings up the loads there for you. Auroros? Yeah, let's go with that. And then obviously you've got these here. You can choose these a bit later once you've actually settled on your race and stuff, so I'll do that. Down here you can choose your sources, so whether you're allowing homebrew content, stuff like that. I would talk to your DM about what kind of things he's happy to allow. But you know, I'll leave it at that for now. I mean, some of the critical role content's pretty cool. You can get the gunslinger archetype for the fighter class, which is good. You got your advancement type, so whether you are counting your XP or whether you're just leveling up on the DM says, then that's quite good as well. So obviously, depending on your playstyle, you can change that as well. With your hit point type. When leveling up, increase hit points by a fixed value for your chosen class or manually enter roll value. So we'll leave that on fixed. Obviously you can put in what you've rolled with your dice and that kind of thing rather than letting the computer do it for you. So again, we'll leave that on that for now. User prerequisites, you've got features and class requirements. I would, as a DM, normally leave those on. And encumbrance type, so yeah, this is basically how much your character can carry, which is based off your strength and stuff. Some games don't like to track it makes it more awkward. Like, I mean, arguably there's only so many swords that one person can carry and still walk normally, and then you've got the variant down here, which I'm presuming there's something later on. I haven't actually played with that one yet, but yeah. And then you can have it so even money counts towards your encumbrance value or not. I'll leave that off for now, just for this sort of tutorial. And then your ability score modifier display is whether you want the modifiers on top or the scores on top. I generally have the scores on top, to be honest. I don't know why, I guess it's just a habit, so you see the score and then the modifiers underneath. And then, you know, whether you want people to be able to see your character on D&D Beyond or not. I'll leave it as private, I'll pop it on private for now. So you've got all of these races which are pretty much within D&D as it is. So obviously you've got your all sources here. You can put that down to the basic rules ones. So you've just got your Dragonborn, Dwarf, Elf, Half Elf, Half Orc, Halfling, Human, Gnome, Tiefling, and Aasimar. I'm never sure how to pronounce that. If I'm wrong, say something in the comments for me, please, because I'd love to know if I am wrong. And then so you got this one, which is your ones from the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. So these are generally evil characters, but I have seen people play good Goliaths and that kind of thing all the time. I mean, look at Critical Role, for example, there. And then you've got the Standard Player's Handbook, which is very similar to the basic rules. In fact, I'll almost go as far to say it's the same. Anyway, so today I'm just going to build something fairly basic. So let's go for a human. We've got one variant here. I'm not quite sure what that is. I think that's part of the homebrew thing, but we'll just go with the standard. And then it pops up all of the advantages, disadvantages of being human. Worth having a quick read. So getting the +1 to all abilities is pretty good, and obviously the extra language as well. So and then you can read into more detail about them there. And obviously you've got all the stuff about their age, where their alignment generally is. Obviously people like to play this a little bit fast and loose. I think with alignment it depends on your game. Obviously your size, and all of this information you'll either get prompted for later on, or you won't have to worry too much because it'll be put onto the sheet for you. So like your base speed is automatically put onto your character sheet for you, which I think is great. So let's click choose race. I'm going to be human. And as you can see, we're already getting prompted for that one extra language that we want to learn. So let's open that up and let's choose a language. I'm going to say, for the argument of this one, let's go Elvish, why not? And then hit next, and then you're down to choosing a class. So let's go for, on this one, just your basic fighter, why not? And again, you get all of these things which are your advantages and disadvantages of being a fighter. Now, if you are on the Critical Role rules and that, you can. This is the one you want to choose if you want to go down the Gunslinger archetype, because that's where it is basically. I don't think you get it until level 3 or 4, but this is where you'd want to be starting with that sort of logic. So it tells you about your hit points, and your hit points at first level, and hit points at high levels, blah blah blah. Then your proficiencies, again, all of these are sort of added on, and when you go through looking at your items and that kind of thing, it should only show you the ones that you're proficient with, that you can actually use, the ones you can actually carry. And again, you've got all these other little things which you should get prompted for later on, or will just go straight onto your character sheet, so you don't really have to worry about it too much right now. Again, worth having a quick read through all of this to make sure that you're happy with it all and make sure that's what you want. And it shows you what you get later on. So in fact, we can check now, can't we? So the martial archetype is 3rd level. There you go. So that's where you could choose the Gunslinger archetype. So we'll click add class. Here's where you can change if you're building a character that's above level 1, but we'll stick to level 1 for today. And it will automatically do a lot of things once you. So at the moment we've got these 4 things here. Now, so if we put that up to level, say 3, we get the martial archetype added on the bottom. If we put that up to level 13, we'll end up with all of these things to add on to our character. But for now, we're just going to leave it at level 1 with these 4 nice and simple ones here. So we get to choose a couple of proficiencies. So let's go with athletics, is a pretty good one for a fighter. And I'm going to get animal handling as well. And then we get fighting style. So again, these you might want to have a bit of a read into. So when you click on it, it does give you the description underneath, so you can have a click through and have a read, see what you think. So I'm quite a big fan of the great weapon fighting fighting style for a fighter. That's always good. I said the word fight there a lot. Anyway, so moving on. So with our ability scores, we can we've got a few choices here of generation methods. So at the moment it's blank. We've just got our racial bonus in there at the moment. So you can go for a standard array, which, if you don't know what standard array is, basically you get these numbers here to put in any way you want. So you've got 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Or you can go for manual. So this is one I generally go for if you're working with a DM. But speak to them about it, see what they think, see how they want to do it. But this would probably be more like where you would roll your dice in person, write them down, and then choose where they go. And then you've got a point buy system where you have a total of 27 points with a base of 8 on all of these, and as you add points to the different areas, they come out of your point buy system. Okay, so this way you get a minimum of 8, maximum of 15, and then easy as that. So we'll just do that for now. I've not really paid much attention to where I put everything, but that looks like a pretty standard sort of array, really. Obviously, if you're using dice, there's a chance you can get better scores than that. But yeah, this works for now, and that looks like pretty good setup. So yeah, we'll go with that next. Oh yeah, it's asking us for a bit more of our background, so we can choose a picture. Let's go with this dude. Why not? And then you can choose your background. So you can either add your own custom background, because for a start they won't have a lot of the. I think they've got basically the ones from the player's handbook. I think it might even be missing some, but you can also add them from elsewhere. Again, check with your DM as to if they're happy about that and what they want to do, because these give you extra items and proficiency. So just make sure you're happy with that. So let's just go noble for today. It gives you all your blurb about it. Have a quick read of that. Make sure you're happy, and then you get your additional proficiencies. So these ones you're given anyway, and then you get to choose your tool proficiency for, well, this is like gambling set, so obviously we've got to go dice. And then you get your extra language, so halfling, why not? And then these are a few other little features. So then you've got your suggested characteristics. Now you can choose your own and you can make up your own on this, but this gives you quite a nice way of choosing a couple. Or it's got this wonderful random button up here, so you get to choose 2 of these. So pop 2 of those on, you get 1 of these, pop 1 of those on, or you can choose one, pop 1 of those on, and pop 1 of those on, and away you go, you're sorted. So that is your basic personality, right, of your characteristics of your character. So from there, that's where you start to build your backstory and that kind of thing. So you get to choose your alignment. Obviously you've got all of these. Your suggested ones will be in with your race, generally speaking. So let's just go for neutrals today, why not? And then faith. Again, something you want to talk to DM about what sort of religions are in the world that you're playing, that kind of thing. And then your lifestyle. This basically denotes how much it's going to cost you per day to live outside of the game, if that makes sense. So this is usually this isn't when you're out adventuring and you're sleeping rough and you're in your tents and you've in gameplay you probably go and hire an inn for the night, that kind of thing. This is more to do with you come to a game one session and the DM goes, right, it's 3 weeks later. This is how much per day it's going to cost you to survive. So if it's 3 weeks later, that's 21 days, so it would be 21 gold pieces on a modest budget. And obviously it gives you a little bit more of that, and there are advantages and disadvantages to that. I mean, we've gone for noble up here, so I would imagine he'd probably have at least a comfortable daily budget. But it also kind of leads to sort of where you might be staying, and other sort of role-playing things as to things that might happen in your campaigns as to where you're staying. Then you've got your physical characteristics, so here you can just put, let's go blonde, why not, skin tone, okay, I can't spell today, I'm not sure if that's right either way. Oh, no, that's not right. Nope. Caucasian, spelled that wrong, thank you. Google, right, eyes blue. Height 6 foot. Weight, say 180 pounds. Age, say 34. Gender. What picture did I go for? I can't remember. I think that's a dude, right? Is that guy? Yeah, that's a bloke. That's a male. Personal characteristics. So this is all from before. Let's put the same one in twice there because I hit random twice and it chose the same one randomly twice. So you can edit these. You can get rid of that and add another random one. So that's quite easy to do. I find this is one of the reasons I really like using this site to build characters. It's just so easy. Yeah, so here's some more notes, just like so any organisations you might be involved with that are linked to the world. Any allies is usually like a specific person, you know, so if you meet people along the way and you can consider them an ally, you can write that down in your notes here. So if you're playing with a laptop in front of you, which personally I prefer pencil and paper, but you know, and likewise with enemies. Backstory, you get a nice little text box here, you can just fill up with your backstory. For this, I mean, it depends on who your DM is. When you're writing your backstory, you really need to keep this sort of stuff in mind and why they would have certain personality traits, why they would have got this ideal that blood runs thicker than water, why just basically your backstory is to answer the why on all of these. One of the things I'd also suggest is basically ask yourself 20 completely random questions, and that could be anything from does this guy have brothers and sisters, or where would he go out for food, is he a vegetarian, and just find 20 questions to ask yourself which you can answer in your backstory and put a reason to, and you should end up with a couple of paragraphs, and I think that's plenty. You definitely don't want more than an A4 sheet. There's people who turn up with a small binder full of backstory only for their character to die in session 2. But yeah, backstory you want to have a think about, but I wouldn't necessarily think too hard about it. And then other is just notes, really, isn't it? Cool, so next, starting equipment. I quite like this bit because you can choose whether you just want the gold and to spend the gold, or you can hit equipment. I generally say to new players and stuff like that, hit equipment because it will give you a good rounded place to start off. So at this point we can choose chainmail or leather armor, longbow and 20 arrows. Let's have a quick look because we can potentially have a crossbow later on instead, or 2 martial weapons, so we could get a longbow later on if we wanted ranged weapons and that kind of thing. I'm going to go chainmail, martial weapon and shield, so let's go for a battle axe. I'm going to go crossbow, so he's got a little bit of long range there, although you can go long range with hand axes as well, so either or. And let's go explorer's pack. It does tell you what's in all of these things, and then these are all your other things that you get as part of your noble trait. So as you can see, it automatically adds in anything from your chosen background starting point as well. So let's add starting equipment. Now, depending on your DM, he may have given you some money to start with as well. So at this point we've got 25 gold pieces. which will be from our starting cachet from being a noble and that kind of thing. So your DM may have turned around and said, look, yeah, have your starting equipment, but I don't want it like your character starting completely from scratch. They've never been adventuring before. They're going to have picked up a few other things along the way. So what you can do is hit add items, and let's just say that he's given you 150 GP or something like that. I don't know. And you can have a look in here, and it will tell you how much these things cost. And you can just hit add item. It will go into your inventory. And then if you're looking for, say, magic stuff, we can go into here, we can get rid of the common things, so we've only got the magic ones. And we can click and add. And then it will tell you if something needs to be attuned. These are your attuned spaces, so you only get 3 of those. So let's find something that needs to be attuned. So here we go. So anything with this little triangle next to you needs to be attuned. So let's say we found those somewhere along the way. Wondrous items generally don't have a cost because you pretty much got to find them. They're very rare. They're not things you'd like to come across. But we're going to pop it on just so I can show you how. Yeah, but we're going to pop it on and just show you how to add that on. So you go to your inventory. You're going to want to make sure anything that you want to be using or wearing, you get in here. So anything that you want to actually appear on the weapons area of your character sheet needs to be on here, because otherwise you'll have it in your inventory on your character sheet, but you won't have it in the weapons area, and you won't have things like your shield, and you won't have your armor added onto your armor class if you don't hit in use. Now the other thing is, because we've got these boots of Winterlands and it's an attuned item, we need to make sure, so we're clicking this box here and we need to make sure that they are into one of our attuned magic spaces, if that is what you're doing. Now bear in mind, you need to spend a short rest, a minimum, with your item to attune to it, so that's usually about an hour. And just like studying it and making sure you know how to use it, that kind of thing. You can have up to 3 of those, so that's cool. And we're kind of almost there, guys. So once you've got all your kit sorted out, you end up on this page, and you can either export it, and you can export it as a PDF, or I think, yeah, standard as PDF. So you can export it as a PDF there, or we can just have a look at it online, where it's actually kind of magic. Because if you're playing with a laptop or a computer in front of you and you've got this here, you can knock down your hit points. Whoops. Well, then you've got your up and down ones here. You can hit here if someone's healing you. You can take your damage. Oops. So, okay, that works that way around. My bad. So we want to heal 6 points. Yeah, there we go, fine. And then you've got all of your attributes up here. You've got your proficiencies. You've got your skills, and this gives you all of what you need to add to your dice rolls right here. You've got your passive perception, etc. You've got all your proficiencies down here, and this is probably the more important bit. So this is where, you know what I was saying about if you don't click it, put it in use, then it won't appear in your weapons area. So they won't be, if you don't click that in use bit, you won't get your stats up here. They will just appear in your equipment list down here, which doesn't give you quite all of the details that you need. Then you've got your features and traits, you've got your description of your character in here, and you've got your notes as well if you've added any. And yeah, that's kind of how you do it. And So, oh, that's the other thing. While we're in here, so here's your attack. So that's all your weapons and stuff. Here's your actions. It's also talking about like attacks per action and that kind of thing as well, which is quite handy to have there. But this is like stuff you like bonus action, which is pretty cool. So you've got your second wind as a fighter. Now you just click that off, and it's to tell you that you've used it. You don't need it again. You can't use it again until you've had a short rest. So you have to come up here and you hit short rest. Take short rest. Confirm it. And it resets it. So anything that you can only use over a short rest, it resets it again, which is pretty good. And same for a long rest. So if you take a long rest, depending on what rule set you play, how your DM plays it, you're getting your health points back after a long rest. So click and confirm, and our hit points are back. So that's great. And yeah, so I find this a really handy tool for building characters. You can add in your inspiration there as well, quite nice and easy. And I find this a really good tool. So seriously, I think we've just knocked a character together in no time. And you know, sometimes with the book, this can be, you know, a job that takes quite a bit longer. But I think this is great. I think it's great for beginners as well, because it gives you you know, a chance to have a play around with things in quite a nice, easy environment, and build something that you're really proud of, something you're really chuffed with, and a character that you want to play. Because the amount of times I've built a character and kind of been a bit meh about it or whatever, and I'll play it for a bit, and then it's very quickly realised I don't really want to play that character anymore. I just don't connect with it. Which is okay, that's allowed. If you don't connect with the character, that's fine. Talk to the DM, say I'm struggling, or don't do what I did and just kind of try and find interesting ways of killing it off and potentially not necessarily ruining the game. I tried to make it so that it was situations where it wouldn't affect other people's play, but you know, things that I tried to find amusing ways to kill them off. But anyway, yeah, so this gives you a chance to actually have a look around. Oh, you can change your colour scheme as well, that's always fun. To have different colours there. Nice purple, why not? And you know, that goes into your PDF as well, which is really cool. I really like this tool. I think it makes character building so easy. And yeah, so great. Go out and make some characters. This is the free profile, so you can build up to 6 characters on that, and as you can see, you can export them as a PDF. Okay, you won't have the interactive version, but that's fine. You still got a character sheet that you can use, and yeah, I would say if you're building characters, especially first time, really consider using D&D Beyond, because it's got so many tools on here. There are some things which you need to have an account, like a paid account for, like accessing other people's homebrew stuff. But you can still create your own, and yeah, I think it's a brilliant website, and it's helped me quite a lot with, well, as I say, building characters, working out how to sort some stuff out on campaigns and stuff. You've got all your rulings here, you've got your spells. You can, again, I think you have to pay for some of this content, but you've got your source books there as well, and you got all sorts here. I think it's a rather wonderful website. But check it out, have a look. I think it looks great. Anyway, thanks guys. Speak soon.